So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ROR Michael Devine, and just going to direct him to appear. There's a mandatory appearance already set for July 7th at 11:30. And it'll be a telephonic hearing. And if you want to look at these, I don't know if you've got your phone, maybe you, I don't know, or you can just wait and see them in the mail. Okay, so okay, so we're going to do his wills.
He has another case.
He bonded all the duels. Okay, so he's going to be released on the child support with an order to appear, mandatory hearing July 7th at 11:30, and there's also going to be a separate order that it's a telephonic hearing with the procedure to call in. Okay, that'll be two separate orders. Okay, yes, sir. Have a nice day. Do you need this?
I'll put it in the back.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, are you in? Oh, we have to call you. Okay. What happened? So, it's going to be, I need to call one of those things in. So, she won't try to call on the phone. Okay, no problem. I don't know. Do you want to try? Once we get to the recording, I'm sorry.
Let's. It's working right now.
Okay.
Let's get through the bulk of them, and then the interpreter ones we'll try at the end. Do we know if the has anybody seen the public defender this morning?
I don't know.
I just texted him.
Okay, all right.
Somebody went down
We're
to
just
the
wait-
office.
Okay, yeah, we're just waiting for the public defender, then we can. And do we know if there's anybody downstairs?
Somebody just
Were
went to
they-
go check, Your Honor.
Okay.
An
all
officer
right,
went
thank-
downstairs.
Thank you.
Judge, the attorney made a stop on the third floor, and I guess he'll be coming up shortly.
Okay, thank you. State your morning. All right, courtroom 2, I think we're ready to go. All right. Good morning, sir. Your name, please?
Good morning, sir. My name is Christopher Vanrico Cesley.
Mr. Cesley, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for an assault. It's domestic related, also an aggravated assault with a firearm. Hold on. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Okay. State, you have a position on bond?
You said okay. I'm not from here, though.
Okay. Defense?
Your Honor, the defense asked for a bond in the amount of $1,500. Anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 on the aggravated assault with firearm, Your Honor, and the second charge is subsidiary.
Okay. All right. I'm going to set the bond on the aggravated assault with a firearm. That's count 2 at $2,500. Count 1 will be $100. I'm going to order that you have absolutely no contact with the victim, also a co-defendant. We'll see shortly, I imagine. Courtney Howard, and that you maintain a separate residence from her. You possess no weapons or firearms. If you have personal belongings at her residence, you can return there one time with law enforcement escorting you to get those personal belongings. Do not go back there alone to get them. Otherwise, you're to have no contact with her or any of the other witnesses in the case. All right. Good luck, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir. Your name, please?
My name is Mr. Don Joseph.
Mr. Joseph, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for a battery. It's domestic related. Okay. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. State you have a position on bond. Yes.
There's no minor history, Your Honor. There's no prior domestic violence situation. Whatever you deem appropriate, that
Okay. All right. It looks like he qualifies for pretrial release. I'll release you on pretrial release, Mr. Joseph, with condition that you have no contact and you live separately from Jacqueline Hodge.
Yes, no
If
problem.
you have to, okay, you can. If you have to get personal belongings at the residence, you can go back one time with law enforcement escorting you to get those personal belongings. Do not go back there alone. Do not have contact with her. All right.
Your Honor, could you turn up the physical here, Don? I appreciate it.
I'm trying. Okay, it's not. We were having a problem with echo when it gets too loud. But right. We'll keep trying it till it's. All right. Thank you.
I thank you too. Welcome.
Morning, sir. Your name, please.
Clover Jean. Clover Jean.
Thank you. Shit. I think I declined it. All right, Mr. Jean, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for possession of methamphetamine Going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Bond is set at $1,000.
All right, thank you.
Good luck. Morning, sir. Your name, please.
Reginald Prince.
Mr. Prince, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for attempted second-degree murder with a firearm, reckless display of a firearm, and unlawful discharge of a firearm. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you.
Can you say that again, sir?
You're here for an initial appearance. I apologize that we're having some problems. If I'll try to speak up. You've been arrested for attempted second-degree murder with a firearm, reckless display of a firearm, and unlawful discharge of a firearm. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. I don't believe this is an F1 PBL charge. Okay. State, do you have a position on bond?
We need to confirm multiple instances of the situation, including a 5-year-old, alcohol spot.
Okay. All right. I believe he's entitled to a bond. I'm going to set the bond on count 1 at $25,000. Count 2 and count 3 will be stayed as subsidiary bonds at $100 each. I'm going to order, sir, that you possess no weapons or firearms, that you not return to the scene, and that you have absolutely no contact with any of the victims or witnesses in the case. Good luck. I'll appoint the public defender. Morning, sir. Your name, please?
Jacques and so.
Mr. Enso, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for trespass of an occupied structure for refusing to leave. I'm going to appoint the public defender. Your bond is set at $500. In addition, I'm going to order that you not return to that Mercedes dealership on Millennium Boulevard. If they see you there, expect they're going to call the law enforcement. You'll get rearrested. Okay, you're not to return there.
Y'all got her at the bond?
As to the $500 bond?
Yes.
Yes.
I would ask if the court would have any objection to an ROR in this case. It appears that our client has no criminal history whatsoever, in state or out of state. This actually may appear to be his first arrest, period. With my experience, Your Honor, judging by the facts of the case and the charge, he'll probably qualify for a 3-time prison program downtown.
Okay.
I would ask if you have any objection to this ROR in this case.
I'm not going to ROR him. What I'll do is it'll be the $500 bond or pretrial release if he qualifies. I know. Well, if he chooses to talk to pretrial and he can give them the information, then he may qualify for pretrial release. Then he can be released without having to post a bond. Okay. All right. Good luck, sir.
Elijah Philip Chandler.
Thank you. Mr. Chandler, you're here for initial appearance. Looks like, I think he's already been IA'd. Does it just have to? You were arrested for attempted burglary of a conveyance. I'll appoint the public defender. Bond is set at $1,000.
Thank you.
All right, good luck. Morning, sir. Your name, please?
Dominique Coleman.
Coleman.
What's the name? There should be a paper right here. Ms. Kay, you have Coleman, you know what section he's going to? Oh, that is one. That has.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right, Mr. Coleman, you're here for. There was a writ of bodily attachment issued in your case for contempt. Looks like for for unpaid child support. I'm going to release you from the jail today. I'm going to sign an order, and I'm going to order that there's already a hearing that's scheduled. You'll get a copy of this when you leave. For July the 7th at 11 o'clock in the morning at the courthouse downtown, there's going to be a child support hearing. That hearing's also going to be telephonic, so you don't need to physically go to the courthouse downtown, but you do need to call in. You'll also get a copy of an order that'll have the phone number for you to call. If you fail to call in that day, expect they're going to issue another writ, and you're going to end up right back here. Okay?
Okay.
Fault. Is that on today's docket?
It was on yesterday's docket.
Dominique Rashad Coleman. Different Coleman.
Sorry.
Okay. All right, Mr. Coleman, good luck. Morning, sir. Your name, please?
Charles William Heider.
Mr. Heider, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for battery on a person 65 years of age or older. All right, and there's a witness. Can we swear in the witness? Be able to hear me, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good.
Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. Your name, please?
Heider.
Ms. Heider, if Charles Heider is released, are you in fear of him? Okay, if he's released, do you want to have contact with him? Does the state have any questions for Ms. Heider? Does the defense have any questions for Ms. Heider?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Why wouldn't he qualify for pretrial release? Why wouldn't he qualify? Okay. Okay. Mr. Heider, I'm going to release you on pretrial release, so you won't have to post a bond. The condition is that you have no hostile contact with your wife.
Yes, sir.
I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. What's that? Okay. In the alternative, there may be an issue with fingerprints, although I don't see you have any history. In the alternative, I'll set the bond at $100. He still won't be released? Yeah. Okay. So it'll be pretrial release or a $100 bond. Either one, just with the same condition, no hostile contact with your wife. Okay. I'm sorry. Did you want to say something else, man?
My husband is a really good man. He was sober for 20 years in Alcoholics Anonymous. And I just gave away his sobriety, but I'm sorry. But I think if he could get back to that, this wouldn't happen again.
Okay. I'm also going to order, as a condition, no alcohol while this matter is pending. Okay? All right. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Morning, sir. Your name, please?
Brian Kevin Horton.
Mr. Horton, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for aggravated battery with a weapon. I'm going to appoint the public defender. State you wish to be heard on bond.
Your Honor, this individual has extensive history of batteries.
Defense?
Your Honor, if the court is not inclined to grant pretrial release, I would ask for a bond around $5,000 or less.
All right, I've reviewed the charging affidavit. I'm not going to release him on pretrial release. The victim's not here today. I'll release him on a $5,000 bond. Order that he have absolutely no contact with Aaron Horton. You're going to have to live at a separate residence from Aaron Horton. You can return to the shared address one time with law enforcement escorting you to get your personal belongings. You're not to go back there alone. You're not to have contact with her. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. Your name, please?
Courtney Howard.
All right, Ms. Howard, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for an aggravated assault with a firearm. It's domestic related. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. State you have a position on bond. All right, defense.
Your Honor, we'll be asking for a bond between $500 and $2,500.
I reviewed the charging affidavit. I'm going to set the bond at $2,500. Ms. Howard, I'm going to order that you have absolutely no contact with Christopher Cesley, and I ordered the same when I saw him. He's not to have any contact with you. If you had a shared residence, you've got to live separately from each other. But if he's living at a residence and you have personal belongings you have to get, you can go there one time, but you have to be escorted by law enforcement to get your personal belongings. You're not to go back there, see him alone or without law enforcement. And you're also to possess no weapons or firearms.
Thank you.
All right, good luck. Good morning, ma'am. Your name, please?
Shaisha King.
Ms. King, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested pursuant to a warrant for the charges of burglary of a dwelling, battery that's domestic related, and also criminal mischief. Okay. State you have a position on bond. Okay. All right, defense.
Your Honor, we'll leave the discretion of the court. We'll ask for pretrial release if it qualifies. That's all, Your Honor.
Okay. The warrant set an amount of $5,000 on the burglary of a dwelling. I'm going to stay that bond on the domestic violence battery. That'll be subsidiary. That bond will be $100, and the criminal mischief will also be $100. I'm going to order that you have no contact with the victim. You maintain a separate residence from the victim. If you have personal belongings, you can go back one time to get your personal belongings, but you have to go with law enforcement. You're not to go back there alone. Okay, good luck, ma'am.
Thank you.
Morning, sir. Your name, please?
Leonel Marmolejos Mendes.
All right, sir, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for a false imprisonment and also a battery. It's domestic related. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. State, you have a position on bond? Defense?
Your Honor, because of lack of history, the court will not be inclined to release on pretrial release. We would ask for a bond amount of $1,500 on false imprisonment and list the battery as a subsidiary.
Okay. I'll set the bond at $1,500 on count one, $100 on count two. I am going to order that you have no contact with Miriam Torres Mora, that you maintain a separate residence from her. If you have personal belongings at her residence, you can go back there one time with law enforcement to get your personal belongings. You're not to go back there alone. You're not to have contact with her.
Okay.
Good luck.
How much is the bond?
$1,500 plus $100, $1,600 total.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. Your name, please?
Sean Ryan.
Mr. Ryan, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for aggravated assault. It's domestic related. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you.
I have I was going to get a paid lawyer, so
that's if you don't want me to appoint the public defender, I won't.
All right, no, you're good.
That's
on
up
that.
to you.
You're good on that. I have a paid lawyer that was going to come to the next court date.
Okay. Well, so I just want to make sure we're on the same page. When you say I'm good on that, you do not want me to appoint the public defender, or you do?
I'm good on the public defender. Thank you, though.
Okay. All right. So I will not appoint the public defender. State, do you have a position on the bond?
Your Honor, minimal history. He has been arrested for some kind of history with those kind of charges. It looks like his unit has a biological father, but they don't have to speak residence.
Okay.
Your discretion upon that.
All right. I'm going to set the bond at $1,500. I'm going to order that you have absolutely no contact with your father, Sean Paul Ryan Sr. It looks like you already live at separate addresses. You're not to go back to that address where he lives. You're not to have any contact with him. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. All right. Good luck, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Morning, ma'am. Your name, please?
Sequela Bell.
Ms. Bell, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for a battery. It's domestic related. There is a witness. Could we swear in the witness, please?
Mr. Bryant, please, do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony that you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, self, and God?
Yes.
Can you state your name for the record?
All right, Mr. McCann, if Miss Bell is released, are you in fear of her? Okay. Do you want to have contact with her?
Yes.
Okay. Does the state have any questions for Mr. McCann? Does the defense have any questions?
Quickly, sir, if she's released without having to pay a bond, would you have any objection to that? No. No further question, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, she qualifies for pretrial release. Ms. Bell, I'm going to release you on pretrial release with the condition you have no hostile contact with Mr. McCant and that you possess no weapons or firearms. All right, good luck, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. Your name, please?
Rosa Flores, Ortiz.
All right, Ms. Flores Ortiz, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for 2 counts of battery. All right, I'll appoint the public defender. State, you have a position on bond? Okay. Defense?
I would ask for a bond in amount of $500 on count 1 and I'll put it up there.
Okay, I'm going to set the bond on count 1 at 1,000. Count 2 will be subsidiary at 100. I'm going to order that you have no contact with Rafael Joaquin Diaz Rosas. That you maintain a separate residence from him. You can return to the shared address one time, but to get personal belongings, but you have to go back with law enforcement. You're not to go back there alone. You're not to have contact with him. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. All right, good luck, ma'am.
Thank you.
Morning, your name, please?
Good morning, Judge. Christopher Akina.
Sir, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for a battery. It's domestic related. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Does the state have a position on bond?
Your Honor, this defendant had some prior battery cases that were pursued with the issue of discretion.
Okay. Defense?
I ask for a bond of $1,000, Your Honor.
Okay. I've reviewed the charging affidavit. I'll set the bond at $1,000. I'm going to order that you have no contact with Amanda Maria Rivera, that you maintain a separate residence from her. If you need to get personal belongings from the residence, you can go back there one time with law enforcement escorting you to get the belongings. Do not go back there alone. Do not have contact with her. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. I slid it. Okay. We do have a witness. Did we swear the witness?
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? Can you state your name for the record?
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Rivera, if Mr. Akina is released, are you in fear of him? Do you want to have contact with him? Okay. All right. Does the state have any questions? All right. Does the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So I'll go ahead and, given the fact that she's here today, I'm going to reduce the bond to $500 from $1,000, and I'm going to order that you have no hostile contact with her. Okay.
Could I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
I don't really know how the bonds really work. So $500, would that be $100, sir?
But generally it's 10%, but I know the bondsman typically charge a minimum of $100, but really it's between you and the bondsman. So you can contact the bondsman or...
I think she'll be doing that for me, sir.
Okay. She can contact the bondsman. They'll explain exactly how it works. Okay?
Thank you so much.
All right, good luck.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, sir. Your name, please?
Bruce Lewis.
Mr. Lewis, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for a battery. It's domestic related.
Yes, sir.
You're also out on bond for a trespass. Okay. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. State you have a position on bond. Defense?
We would ask for a bond of It was 1,000 to 2,500 on count one, and for possible no action on the other bond, since they are totally unrelated one.
Yeah. Okay. All right, on the battery, I'm going to set the bond at $1,000. I'm going to order that you have no contact with your mother, Gloria Yesenia, that you maintain a separate residence from her. Okay. That you possess no weapons or firearms. I'll take no action on the out on bond.
Thank you, sir.
It looks like you have a separate residence from her.
Yes,
You
sir.
don't live with her. Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah, they don't live together. So you're to have no contact with her while this matter is pending.
Yes, sir.
Good luck.
Thank you so much, sir.
Morning, sir. Your name, please.
Anthony Pataki.
Mr. Pataki, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for a battery. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. State you have a position on bond. Defense?
Yeah, we have to go on 500 to $1,000.
Yeah. I've reviewed the charging affidavit based on the allegations. I'm going to set the bond at $500. I am going to order that you have no contact with Nicole DeMarco and that you maintain a separate residence from her. You can return to the shared residence one time with law enforcement escorting you. You're not to go back there alone. You're not to have contact with her. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, and you're not to consume any alcohol while this matter is pending.
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Morning, ma'am. Your name, please.
Asa Rosano.
Ms. Rosano, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for a battery. It's domestic related. State you have a position on bond.
The defendant has multiple prior felonies in this matter. It does not appear that they are violated in nature. There are prior arrests with when you ask for a bond,
Defense?
You are sentences of misdemeanor. I would ask for one for $1,000.
Okay. I've reviewed the charging affidavit. I'll set the bond at $1,000. I am going to order, ma'am, that you have no contact with the victim in the case and that you maintain a separate residence from him. You can return one time to the residence to get your personal belongings. You're not to go back there alone. You're not to have contact with him.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Morning, sir. Your name, please.
Carl Staples.
Mr. Staples, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for a battery. It's domestic related, and we have a witness. Swear the witness, please.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony that you're about to give should be the truth, whole truth, so help you God? Can you state your name for the record, please?
All right, Ms. Williams, if Mr. Staples is released, are you in fear of him?
No, sir.
If he's released, do you want to have contact with him?
Yes, sir.
State, do you have any questions for Ms. Williams? Does the defense have any questions for Ms. Williams? Okay. All right, it looks like Mr. Staples qualifies for pretrial release. I'll release you on pretrial release with the condition that you have no hostile contact with Ms. Williams. Possess no weapons or firearms. Okay, good luck, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor, Carrie Towns is medical.
Towns is medical. Thank you.
Your Honor, is it possible to pull from your reset stack Alejandro Laurie? He has a victim.
Last name is Laurie.
Sir.
Okay.
They're all, you want me to pull it out? I know where they are.
Okay. Morning, sir. Your name, please.
Alejandro Laurie.
Mr. Laurie, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for a battery. It's domestic related, an assault, and resisting an officer without violence. We're going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Okay, and we do have a witness. Could we swear in the witness?
Do you solemnly swear in affirming the testimony you're about to give to be the truth and whole truth to help you God? Can you take your name to the record, please?
All right, Miss Martin, if Mr. Laurie is released, are you in fear of him? If he's released, do you want to have contact with him?
Yes, sir. So, I feel like it's necessary. We can have a third party for his family members. But yes, I would like to have contact for the sake of his son.
Okay, so would there be any need for you to have contact with him other than contact that relates to your son?
No.
Okay. All right. Does the state have any questions for Ms. Martin? Does the defense? Okay. That's easy. Did he qualify for pretrial release? Does not. Okay. Okay. I'm going to set the bond at $500 on count 1. Count 2, I'll reduce the subsidiary to 100, and count 3 will be reduced subsidiary to 100. Sir, I'm going to order that you have no contact with Ms. Martin other than contact regarding your son. That's the only contact you're to have with her. Then that contact with her regarding your son is only to be non-hostile in nature, and it's to be through a third party. Okay, you're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Okay? All right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Good luck, sir. Good morning, sir. Your name, please?
Adrian Adams.
Mr. Adams, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for attempted burglary of an occupied dwelling and criminal mischief. You're also currently out on bond. Looks like a pending DUI from last year. Okay, the bonds have been set on the attempted burglary of an occupied dwelling. Bond is set at $3,500. The criminal mischief, I'll reduce the bond to subsidiary. That bond will be $100. Okay. And you're on pre-trial release. Okay. All right. You're not to return to your parents' address, 9111 Pristine Circle, while this matter is pending.
Okay.
Okay. Good luck. I'll take no action. Morning, ma'am. Your name, please?
Taquaja Austin.
Ms. Austin, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for failing to appear for a case management conference last week on the 9th.
Okay.
On a felony. Hold on. On a felony case.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an attorney representing you in that case? You have the public defender?
Yes, I had a public defender, but I was unaware of what day I was supposed to go to court.
Okay. Well, you're going to have to go back and talk to the judge on that case, because apparently they believe that you had proper notice, and that's why they issued the capias. So the bond on that is set at none. It's going to have to be stayed at none. The public defender looks like previously appointed to represent you, and that attorney will have to file the appropriate motion to get back in front of the judge on that case.
Is there any way I could be is there any way I could do a pre-trial release?
No, I'm not going to release you on pre-trial release. You're going to have to go back and see you're gonna have to go back and see the judge that's handling that case.
Okay.
Okay. You also you've got a new case of possession of drug paraphernalia misdemeanor. That bond is set at $500.
Okay.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
I'll appoint the public defender in that case. Morning, sir. Your name, please.
Raymond Brito, B-R-I-T-O.
Mr. Brito, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for burglary of a dwelling and petty theft.
Yeah.
I'm gonna appoint the public defender to represent you. Bond has been set at $5,000 on count 1 and $100 on count 2. And I'm going to order that you not return to 1720 Sunset View Circle.
Excuse me. I live right there in the corner. I wasn't taking that. She said that she saw me because I was in the yard looking for a little kitten that got away from the house. That's all.
Well, you can talk to your attorney about that. That may be certainly good information that the attorney's going to want to know. But today is not the trial. Okay, so don't go to your neighbor's house. I'm sorry. The address is 1728 Sunset View Circle. Okay, so don't return to your neighbor's house. Have no contact with your neighbor while this matter is pending. All right. Good luck, sir.
Yeah.
Your Honor, Leonardo Cedino was a refusal.
Refusal. Thank you.
If they refuse, I would waive the appearance.
It's an out on bond, so it's going to be a reset. So we're going to have to, it's a well, depending on the circumstances, but it looks like he's out on bond or out on ROR in a grand theft and picked up a new grand theft. At least that's what the charge is. So, he's going to be a reset. Morning, sir. Your name, please. I'm sorry, couldn't hear you.
Sean Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. And what happened to Rodney Farrow?
We didn't have him on our docket, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll figure out.
We'll just have to give him the inmate number. Ms. Page, you ready? 200-13744. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Hill, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for burglary of a structure, criminal mischief, more than $1,000, and petty theft. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Bond set at $3,500 on count 1, $150 on count 2, and $100 on count 3. And it looks like you had just bonded out. Similar charges: dealing in stolen property, receiving money from a pawnbroker by false verification, burglary of a structure, and petty theft. I'm going to revoke the bonds in that case. That's 20 CF 5549 AO, and set that bond at none. You already have an attorney in that case. You can go back in front of the judge in that case that you were out on bond on and try to get a bond back. But right now, that bond will be none. Okay. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Morning, ma'am. Your name, please.
Stephanie Jackson.
What happened to Charles Edwin Jackson?
He's mental health, Your Honor.
Mental health. Thank you. All right, Ms. Jackson, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver, possession of drug paraphernalia, and providing false identification to law enforcement. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in the case.
Yes.
Bond set at $15,000 on count 1, $100 on counts 2 and 3, $100 each on those two counts. And you're also currently out on bond. State, what's the status of her out on bond? That case is 2020 MM 774 AO. It's not been filed on? It has been filed on. Okay. All right. On that case that you were out on bond on the paraphernalia from the beginning of the year, I'm going to revoke that bond, but I'll set a new bond at $2,000.
As for what's the amount on that one?
$15,000.
Would you have any objection to reducing that to possibly anywhere between $1,500 and $5,000? I believe that the intent to sell and deliver is probably going to be added on because of the possible amount of drugs found or how it was packaged. But I'm looking at my client and the fact that it says I believe there was more for personal consumption.
Give me just a second. Okay, we don't have it didn't appear that they weighed it. All right, Miss Jackson doesn't appear, at least on the face sheet, doesn't appear that she's ever missed court. So based on that, I'll reduce the bond on count one from $15,000 to $7,500. Everything else stays the same. All right. Good luck, Miss Jackson.
Thank you.
Morning, sir. Your name, please.
Richard Rivera.
All right, sir. You're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for battery on an emergency medical care provider.
Not guilty.
Yeah. Okay. Today's just the initial appearance. So I just tell you why you were arrested, and we're gonna the bond has already been set at $2,500. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Okay, yes.
Okay?
Thank you.
Good luck. Rivera with an R. Judge Duckworth. I'm sorry, I can barely hear you. I'm in the middle of we started doing Orange County because we got the cameras to work over here. Probably give us another 20, 25 minutes, and then we'll try to hook up with you. Okay? Great. Thank you. I'll see you. Okay. Okay. Yes. Good morning, sir. Your name, please?
Booker Sherrod.
Mr. Sherrod, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, possession of cannabis, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Okay. All right. I'll appoint the public defender in the case to represent you. On count one, I'm going to stay that bond at $4,000. The remaining counts will be reduced to subsidiary bonds. So count two will be 150. Count three will be 100. Count four will be 100. I'm going to order that you not possess any weapons or firearms while this matter is pending.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good luck.
So my bond been broke down or something? You know what I mean? I don't know what it means. That's why I was asking.
Okay. They'll explain it to you.
Your Honor, Rolando Espinoza is medical.
Thank you. Morning, sir. Your name, please?
Rafael Martinez, sir. Ortega.
I had a Charmaine Anthony. Okay. The inmate is 2001-3729. Probably bonded. Bonded. Okay, thanks. All right, Mr. Martinez Ortega, you're here for initial appearance.
Yes, sir.
You've been arrested for a DUI.
Yes, sir.
And you're currently out on bond.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I see that's on an unrelated charge.
Yes, sir.
All right, so the bond has been set at $500. I'll appoint the public defender. I'll take no action on the out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, good luck.
Your Honor, Fernando Morales Doth is a bond.
Thank you. Morning, sir. Your name, please?
Jeffrey Bryant.
Mr. Bryant, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for petty theft. I'll appoint the public defender. Bond is set at $250.
All right, thank you.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Morning, sir. Your name, please?
Ronald Dean Guffey.
Scuffy, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for trespass on property after warning and battery. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Bond is set at $500 on the first count, $100 on the second count. Okay. I'm going to order you to have no contact with the victim and not return to the scene, the Walmart. Okay. Good luck.
Your Honor, Corey Hall is mental health.
Thank you.
Your next one, Jesus Marquez, is this mental health as well.
Mental health as well. Thank you.
Yeah, if we grab the individual on mental health, could we just not wait their appearances so we can just go ahead and have they take a transfer downtown so they can start getting them
They're both They're both out on bond on cases. So I inclined to reset them.
Your Honor, Alexis Mullins was a refusal.
Mullins was a refusal.
I'll waive her appearance.
Okay. All right, on Miss Mullins, the bonds, I'll appoint the public defender, and the bond stayed at $250.
Your next case for Billy Robinson, he was mental health.
Mr. Robinson is mental health. That's to be reset. He's also out on bond. So that'll have to be reset.
Your next case for Quincy Starr, he was a refusal.
All right, Mr. Starr is a refusal. Okay, on Mr. Starr, the bond will be stayed at $500. I'll appoint the public defender. Morning, sir. Your name, please?
Asa Trevor Welch.
Mr. Welch, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for petty theft. And you're currently out on bond for a grand theft. State, what's the status of the out on bond? 2020 CF 4987 AO?
That one, it is still pending. There's no information on whether it's been filed or not.
Okay. All right. So what? Okay. I'll take no action on the out on bond. I'm going to increase the bond on the new charge to $500, with the condition that you not return to the Walmart, 8101 South Jungyung Parkway.
Your Honor, I'm not going to be able to bond out. Is there any way we can resolve this today? If I plead guilty?
State want to make an offer on a petty theft?
Based on his history, an offer at this point would be to adjudicate the bill about 6 months.
How long?
6 months.
Well, it's as is. It's an M2, so you can only get 60 days.
Oh, that's good. Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Well, the state's offer at this point 60 days in the county. So I don't know if you want to take 60 days in the county.
No, thank you.
Okay. I didn't think so. Okay. Good luck.
Your next case for Eddie Yadow was a refusal.
Thank you. He also is out on bond, so that'll have to be a reset.
Brent Bauman is mental health.
Mr. Bauman is mental health. That's already been reset. It's been reset a couple times. So it looks like the public defender was previously appointed on Mr. Bauman and will stay the bonds, 500 on count 1, 100 on count 2. And
can we have him screen for a mental health pretrial release? I mean, he doesn't seem to have any real.
Is that something y'all would do? Just automatically do that, or do we? Okay, so let's see, have him screened possibly for mental health pretrial release. Okay, but we don't need to reset him. So it'll be the bond or mental health pretrial release if he qualifies.
Your next case for Cornelius Brodus is mental health.
Okay, Mr. Brodus has been reset. He's out on bond on a number of cases.
Your Honor, this is also one of my clients back in when I was in county court. He made the ICP in one of his cases. So that's for court consideration, but I did not have that as court for this time.
Yeah, this is it's a trespass of the downtown Publix, and he's got a bunch of cases going on right now, it looks like. So we'll reset it one more time on the chance that if you're able to talk to him or he's loose and can show up one day. Torquil Coleman.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Coleman, you're here for initial appearance. Okay. You've been arrested for false imprisonment and assault.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I don't know what false imprisonment means.
That's basically holding somebody against their will to some degree.
Yes, if you have something that belongs to me.
Okay. Well, I've appointed an attorney to represent you. Today's not the trial. Okay. So there may be some, or you may dispute everything as far as what the allegations are. But today's not really the day to get into the allegations or the defense, because you may say something that you unwittingly may hurt your cause by saying the wrong thing today. Okay, he's out on bond on several cases, state. It looks like they're all possession of controlled substance related cases. Okay, well, I'm going to appoint the public defender. I'll take no action on the out on bonds. On the false imprisonment, the bond set at $3,000. On the assault, the bond set at $100. I'm going to order you have no contact with the victim in the case.
I really don't know the victim at all, like
Okay,
no
well
whatsoever.
then that won't be a problem. So those are the bonds, and I've appointed the public defender to represent you. Okay.
All right. When is my next court date and stuff?
Right now, you don't have a next scheduled court date in this case. As far as your other pending cases, I don't know at this point. So you just speak to your attorney about it.
Okay. There's a possible chance if I be released on my own with conscience.
No, I'm not gonna release you ROR. Yeah, it looks like you've missed court at least once in the past. Given the history, I'm not going to do it. Okay.
All right.
Good luck, sir.
Donna Samuel Palat was a refusal.
Mr. Palat was a refusal. Okay. Okay. On Mr. Palat, I'll appoint the public defender. You're already appointed. And stay the bond at $250 with the order not to return to the Publix on Kirkman Road. All right. Good morning, sir. Your name, please?
William Rivera.
Mr. Rivera, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for possession of fentanyl. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Bond is set at $1,000.
Your Honor, is there any way?
Yes, sir.
Is there any way that I can R&R? I cannot make.
No, okay. Well, I see from your past history, you've missed court several times.
It's because they didn't give me a notice through the mail, but I turned myself in as soon as I found out.
Okay. Well, I've appointed you an attorney, and you can talk to the attorney about either getting the bond reduced or a possible RR. You'll have to take that up with the judge in the case, the division where the case is assigned.
So there was
but
no
I'm not going to reduce the bond today.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck. Morning, sir. Your name, please?
Monty Lee Monroe, sir.
Mr. Monroe, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested on a county ordinance violation, soliciting without a permit. The bond, I'll reduce the bond to an ROR, or if you want to get the matter resolved today, you'd be adjudicated guilty, be given credit for the 2 days you've served in the county jail, and I've reduced the cost to a judgment. You don't have to get it resolved today if you don't want, but if you want to, I'll ROR you if you want. But if you're ROR'd and they file on the case, you'll get another court date to come back.
Yes.
or you can get it resolved today.
Can I get it resolved today, please, sir?
Yes, sir. To that county ordinance violation soliciting without a permit, how do you plead?
No contest.
You
sir.
plead. I'll accept no contest. I'll adjudicate you guilty. I'll reduce the cost to a judgment. All right. Good luck, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you'll be released as to this charge today.
Your Honor, Clayton Oliver was behavior.
Behavior. Okay.
Your Honor, if I waive Mr. Oliver's appearance, would the court have any objections to an oral warrant case?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll appoint on Mr. Clayton Oliver. I'll appoint the public defender, and we'll ROR him on the soliciting without a permit charge.
Your Honor, Dennis
And-
Tyner is medical.
Yes, ma'am.
He's medical. Tyner.
Medical. Okay. All right. And
Your Honor, even though he is a medical, if the court would be inclined, I would ask for ROR in this case as well. He's out of bond. He's out of bond on the same charge. So listen, probably not going to be.
yeah.
I'd ask for no action on the out of bond charge and the ROR in this listen without permit because of the nature of the.
I'll ROR him. I'll appoint the public defender. I'll take no action on the auto bond.
I just have one inmate for the Spanish interpreter.
Okay. And on which individual's that?
Brito, Hector Brito,
Okay. So Pedro Lopez, what happened to him?
bonded.
He bonded. And Angel Million
Bonded as well.
bonded as well. Okay. All right. So we're going to try to do the interpreter. Keep your fingers crossed.
Judge?
I feel more comfortable in Spanish.
Okay, let's see if they can.
All right. Hector Brito.
Your Honor, if you could just give me a second so I can connect to the podium over there in courtroom 2.
Not a problem.
Thank
you. Oh, I'm charging.
Sí, le escucho, mamita.
He can hear me, Your Honor, but if I can just ask the correctional officer in courtroom 2 if they can disconnect the second headset because it causes an echo.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Okay, she's disconnected it.
Ya la puedo.
All right. All right, good morning, sir. State your name, please.
Héctor Manuel Brito Pérez. Héctor Manuel Brito Pérez.
Hector Manuel Brito Perez.
Sir, you're here for initial appearance. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you in this matter. In this case, you've been arrested pursuant to a warrant. You've been charged with attempted first-degree murder with a firearm, the discharge and injuries. You've been charged with aggravated battery with great bodily harm with a firearm. You've been charged with use of a firearm in the commission of a felony. Like I said, I've appointed the Office of the Public Defender. I'm going to stay the bond or set the bond at none on count 1. On count 2, the bond will be set at $10,000. Bond on count 3 is $150. Additional conditions are you're to possess no weapons or firearms. You're to have no contact with the victim. or any witnesses in the case? All right. Good luck, sir.
Gracias.
Thank you.
And that's all we have, Madam Interpreter. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Your Honor, is the interpreter also going to be needed for Osceola?
Yes, we're keeping our fingers crossed that we can somehow merge Osceola in. So just bear with us for a few minutes.
Would you like me to stay connected?
Morning, Mr. Schmier, can you hear me?
Yes, Judge. Good morning. Thank you.
Okay, good morning. Okay, we're going to try to do the interpreter cases first, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any interpreter cases?
Judge, we have one Spanish-speaking client. His name is Luis Rodriguez Rivera. The state's also, the CEOs are also asking for a self-harm gentleman to go first.
Okay, who do they want to go first?
Jose Figueroa.
Jose Figueroa, okay. It's like, we'll take Jose Figueroa first.
I'm going to waive the reading of the charges, Judge.
All right. Good morning, sir. State your name, please.
Good morning, Jose Figueroa.
Sir, you're here for initial appearance. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. State you have a position on bond.
Your Honor, based on the charges, I would really give that bond.
Okay. Mr. Schmier, do you have a position on bond?
Yes, I do, Judge. First of all, let me just point out that this is the one case I'm going to argue probable cause out of all the people arrested. And I'm not arguing probable cause per se. I'm arguing probable cause for what he was arrested for, specifically for the first-degree felony. This is really a second-degree felony, not a first-degree felony, and because it's a second-degree felony, the bond should reflect a lowered amount rather than a first-degree felony. If you look at the allegation in this case, the reason Mr. Figueroa was arrested as a first-degree felony was because one of the enhancements in subsection 4E allegedly are present. If one of the enhancements are present, that enhances the charge from a second-degree felony to a first-degree felony. But there are simply, based on the fact pattern, is nothing alleged. It's an enhancement. So this is not to be flippant, but it is a garden variety second-degree felony, not a first-degree felony.
Okay. I'm going to, I'll set the bond on the misdemeanor at a subsidiary amount of $100. On the felony count, I'm going to set the bond at $10,000 with the condition that you have no contact with Diana Guzman and that you maintain a separate residence from her. If you have personal belongings at the shared residence in Poinciana, you can return there one time, but you have to be escorted by law enforcement. You're not to go back to that residence alone. You're not to have contact of any kind with her, either direct contact or indirect contact through a third party or any other means. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you have contact with her or if you go back to that residence in any way except with law enforcement, you'll be in violation of the court's order. You violate the court's order, your bond can be revoked and you can be held on no bond. Okay? Any other issues to address, Mr. Schmier?
No.
Okay. All right. Good luck, sir.
Thank you. You have a good day.
Luis Rodriguez Rivera is the Spanish-speaking gentleman, Judge.
Okay, we're going to try to bring in the... Two. Okay, is Mr. Rodriguez Rivera coming up? me try to call in. So we're merging you into Osceola.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Are you Luis Rodriguez Rivera?
¿Es usted Luis Rodríguez Rivera?
Sí.
Yes.
Sir, you're here for initial appearance.
Señor, ¿se encuentra usted aquí para la vista de primera instancia?
Okay.
Ok.
I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Y se le designa la oficina de defensores públicos para que le representen a usted.
Okay.
You've been arrested on 2 charges or 2 counts of battery.
Se le ha arrestado a usted por 2 cargos de agresión física.
Does the state have a position on bond?
¿La fiscalía tiene alguna postura con respecto a la fianza?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. These are bonds were preset. I'm going to stay the bonds at $500 on each count.
Disculpa, ya se habían prefijado las fianzas y por lo tanto se van a mantener las fianzas tal cual en $500 cada uno.
And I'm going to order that you have no contact with the victims in the case.
Y ordenaré que usted esté prohibido tener ningún tipo de contacto con las víctimas en la causa.
And that you consume no alcohol.
Y que esté prohibido consumir alcohol. Okay.
All right, good luck.
Bien, buena suerte.
And I think that's all we have, Miss Interpreter. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. The interpreter will disconnect.
Okay. Candy Buskirk?
Hello.
Good morning, ma'am. State your name, please.
Candy Buskirk.
Ms. Buskirk, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for a battery. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Do we have, is Henry Webster also present?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and ask, I guess for purposes of potential contact, we probably need to address him also. But before we do that, Miss Buskirk, I'm going to address Mr. Webster shortly. In the event that he's released, are you in fear of him?
No, Your Honor.
Do you want to have contact with him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. State, give a position on bond. Okay. All right. I'm going to set the bond in this case at $250, and I'll have to talk to Mr. Webster. We'll address the issue of contact after I talk to him. Okay. But your bond set at $250. I'm going to ask, instead of going in and leaving yet, I want you to just have a seat over there, so we can go ahead and address him next.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. His name is Henry Webster. Mr. Henry Webster, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Mr. Webster, you're here for initial appearance, and you've also been arrested for a battery. I'm going to ask you, sir, if I've already set a bond on Miss Buskirk. If she's released, are you in fear of her?
Not at all.
Do you want to have contact with her?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to, on her case, I've set the bond at $250, and I'm going to order no hostile contact with Mr. Webster. Mr. Webster, likewise, I'm going to set your bond at $250, and I'm going to order you have no hostile contact with Miss Buskirk.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Judge, is the PD appointed on this case also?
Yes, public defender's appointed in his case also. Thank you. April Desasare.
Judge Mr. Sorry will likely hire Roger Wheaton.
Okay. All right, ma'am. State your name, please.
April DeCesar.
DeCesar. Thank you. I apologize for mispronouncing your name. Ma'am, you're here today. You have been arrested pursuant to a warrant, charges of child abuse without great bodily harm and tampering. Bonds were set on the warrant at $5,000 on count 1 and $1,000 on count 2. In addition, you're ordered to have no contact with the victim. Okay. Good luck, ma'am. Gavin Drake.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. You're here for initial appearance, sir. You've been arrested for looks like battery by strangulation. It's a domestic related charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case. State you have a position on bond. Okay. Mr. Schmier, do you have a position on bond?
I just can't hear what the state is saying, but I just point out, based on the fact pattern, there appears to be at least some mutual combat, or at least anticipatory mutual combat. The alleged victim herself indicated that after Mr. Drake got mad about a very trivial issue about whether to leave a certain light on. He gets into an argument, knocks down a bathroom door. She admitted that they kind of went at each other at the same time, at which point Mr. Drake was accused of putting his hand on her neck, pushing her back. So it's quasi-mutual combat, I would argue. And I would ask the court to take that into account. Mr. Drake did apologize for losing his temper. So it's not really an egregious fact pattern.
All right. I'm going to set the bond at $1,000. I'm going to order that you have no contact with Brianna Brown and that you maintain a separate residence from her. If you have to go back to get personal belongings at the shared residence, you can go back with law enforcement escorting you. You can go back one time. Do not go back there alone. Do not have contact with her. Okay. Good luck, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Caitlin Johnson.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. State your name, please, ma'am.
Caitlin Johnson.
Ms. Johnson, you're here for initial appearance. You've been charged with a battery. It's domestic related. I'll appoint the public defender. State you have a position on bond. Okay. Mr. Schmier, do you have a position on bond?
I just can't hear what the state is saying, but I would simply argue that if you read the charging affidavit, the alleged victim was, in the officer's own words, vehement in not wanting Ms. Johnson arrested. They both have been drinking, apparently. There's no history of violence between the two of them, so I would ask that you consider that and give Ms. Johnson a de minimis bond.
All right, I've reviewed the affidavit. I'm going to set the bond at $250. With the condition that you have to live separately and have no contact with Gerald Kenioto. You're to live separately from him. If you need to get personal belongings from the shared address, you can go back there one time with law enforcement escorting you to get your personal belongings. I'm also going to order that you consume no alcohol while this matter is pending. All right. Good luck, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
William Kennedy.
I believe Mr. Kennedy will also be hiring a private lawyer, Judge.
Okay. Good morning. State your name, please.
William Kennedy.
All right, Mr. Kennedy, I understand that you do not wish that I appoint the public defender to represent you. Is that correct?
No, yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. All right. You've been arrested pursuant to a warrant for a battery by strangulation. It's domestic related. State you have a position on bond. Okay. All right. Do you have a history on him?
So, he has prior child abuse claims, prior domestic battery claims. I believe that's that.
Do you show those as being convictions or are they just arrest?
My sister's now our legal counsel.
Okay. All right.
Judge, if I may interject for a second, as an officer of the court.
Yes, sir.
Just to give you information, since we're not on this case, apparently, I found this out by pure circumstance. The alleged victim is Miss April I'm sorry for butchering her name. This is, pardon me? Oh, no, I'm sorry, different alleged victim, pardon me, never mind. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Do you have a position on bond?
Myself, I'm not
Mr.
on the
Schmier?
case, Judge.
Yes.
I'm not on the case.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's correct. All right. I'm going to set the bond at $2,500. I'm going to order that you have no contact with the victim and that you maintain a separate residence. You can return to the shared residence one time in celebration. Get your personal belongings. Do not go back there alone. Do not have contact with the victim. Possess no weapons or firearms. Good luck, sir. Alexander Cesley.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. State your name, please.
Alexander Zell.
Zell, okay. Sir, you're here for initial appearance on a couple of matters. You've been arrested for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in that case. The bond is going to be stayed at $3,500. I'm going to order you to have no contact with the victim, Thomas Shelton. I believe that may be a neighbor of yours, but you're to have no contact with him whatsoever.
Yes, sir.
You're to possess no weapons or firearms.
Yes, sir.
You've also been arrested for trespass on property. That bond is going to be set, or it'll be reduced to $150 with the condition that you not return to the scene. You're currently out on bond on a misdemeanor resisting an officer without violence. I'm going to take no action on the out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so you'll remain on bond on that case.
I highly appreciate it, man.
All right. And I've appointed the public defender in all cases. All right. Good luck. Is that it? Wait, I'm sorry. Wanda Hernandez. Morning, ma'am. State your name, please.
Wanda Hernandez.
Ms. Hernandez, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for a violation of probation on a warrant out of Orange County for a felony petty theft. The bond is set at none. So they're going to notify Orange County that you're in Osceola County, and Orange County will come get you unless there's something else holding you. Orange County will come get you. They've got 24 hours, not including today. But with COVID, I'm not sure when they're transporting. So, but they'll notify Orange County to come get you on the violation of probation warrant. All right. Good luck, ma'am.
Judge, she is asking for a bond. I explained to her the court's normal position, but she's indicated there's some extenuating circumstances because of her mother being sick.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear your mom's sick. I don't have, quite frankly, I don't have the authority to change the judge that set the no bond warrant. I'm not gonna set a bond in the case. All right. Good luck, ma'am.
Judge, are you being appointed now, or are you going to wait till she gets transported to Orange County to be appointed?
I'll go ahead and appoint your office now. It's the same office. It's fine. Jose Ibarra. Morning, sir. State your name.
Jose Ibarra.
Mr. Ibarra, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested pursuant to a Polk County warrant for failing to appear for a weekend work release on your driving with a suspended license. And the Polk County warrant is set at no bond. They'll notify Polk County that they have you there in Osceola County, and Polk County will come get you. It should be within 24 hours of them notifying Polk County, not including the weekend. So, like I told the other individual, I don't know how fast they're transporting folks because of the COVID right now, but hopefully you should be in Polk County this week.
This week?
Okay?
I'm not quite sure. I'm sorry. I'm not quite sure if transports are even being made. If you know differently, because what's been happening in the last few weeks, as I understand it, the out-of-county warrant people are being left here in this jail. We're supposed to be appointed technically, not for complete representation, but to have us contact the jurisdiction to see if they want to resolve the case. But if you said that, do you wish to have us appointed or simply have?
I'll go ahead and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you and see if it's something that can be resolved, certainly without transportation, if at all possible.
Yes, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. Good luck, sir. Pablo Graziani Ballard.
Good evening, Your Honor.
All right. Good afternoon, sir. State your name, please.
Pablo Graziani.
All right, sir. You're here for initial appearance. Been arrested for a battery. Appears it's domestic, and your brother being the victim. I'm going to appoint the public defender. State, do you have a position on bond? It is. That's why it's no bond. It's domestic. Okay. I've reviewed the charging affidavit. I'm going to set the bond at $250, and I'm going to order that you have no contact with your brother, Pablo Graziani, and that you maintain a separate residence from him. If you share an address, you're going to have to live for an address from him. So if he's going to live at that St. Cloud address, you can go back there once, but you have to go back with law enforcement escorting you. You're not to go back there alone to get your personal belongings. And you're to have no contact with your brother. Okay, good luck.
The PD is appointed, is that correct, Judge?
Yes, I'll appoint the public defender.
Thank you. I think that's all, Judge. Thank you.
I think that's it.